Hello and welcome to Let's Challenge. This week I'm continuing the Leather Whip Challenge with Stage 7, which as you can see is the library in the castle. And the library is always one of my favorite parts of the Castlevania games. It's kind of a staple now. It's in pretty much every game at some point. And I also really like it just because it's a library, and libraries are pretty cool. We also have some nice axe armor here because later the library actually transforms into a museum, and I guess you don't see that as often. The library sticks around in games more than like a kind of museum, but later on it does turn into a museum, and it does make sense to have a museum and a library together, of course. But the first thing I really like about this stage is always trying to outrun the ghosts. It's just some little thing that I think is fun to do here. Have a few ghosts, and I always just try to outrun them. The only tricky part is killing this axe armor fast enough to get away from the last ghost, really. And there we go. Now we come to the other thing I like, and that's this vertical section. And I think it's fun because you can just jump through most of it. As long as you know where to jump and where it's safe, you can get through it just like that. And I think that's fun, just to fall through. There's one other vertical section like that later in the game that you can fall through a bit, but you can't quite do it as fast, I think, and so it's not really as fun. Well, anyways, I also like this last part of the library with the bone skeletons. I think it's kind of interesting gameplay here because you can never really kill the skeletons, so you have to take them down and then make the next jump quickly, otherwise you have to deal with the skeleton again. So at least the first time we go through it, it makes things a little tricky since you're trying to figure out the patterns of the books and stuff. And so here we go with the first bat of the level, and the second half with the museum. Although, interesting thing about the instruction manual for the American game is they don't call this the museum, they call this the unliving quarters. So I'm not sure why they did that. It's a little silly joke, but it doesn't really work because this clearly isn't the living quarters. This is clearly meant to be a museum. It has, you know, the suits of armors and the living portraits there, and all of the statues and stuff that crumble. All sorts of things that points to this was meant to be a museum. And also it's right beside the library, that too. So I'm not sure why they called it the unliving quarters. I think they just gave whoever wrote the instruction manual, I think they just gave him free reign to kind of write whatever they wanted in a way. So he decided to throw in that joke. Okay, anyways, we have this weird centipede, and I always just let him go off screen because I can never kill him fast enough anyways, typically, to do anything. So I'll just let him stay up there, I guess, and do his thing, and I'll just walk off screen. A lot of times if you just walk to the left there, like I was trying to do, he just disappears right away, like he despawns, I guess. But sometimes he doesn't. I don't know. And then we're coming up to the boss really soon, which is one other thing that shows that I think it shows this is meant to be a museum, because he's a really cool axe armor, or a suit of armor that breaks out of his display case and everything. So that's soon enough, you get to see it for yourself. I almost walked into that there. I wasn't thinking about avoiding the upgrade. I am trying to do this without upgrades and sub-weapons, of course. So now we're finally at the boss. And I think he's pretty cool because he has a really big axe that looks cool. And for this boss, I mainly stay on the left side because you can't really go anywhere else anyways unless you jump over him, and it's kind of a hard jump, so I don't know why you'd bother. I just stay along the left wall as much as I can, because as long as you're up here you can actually jump over all of his attacks, including that axe throw if you actually jump correctly, like that. Okay, I thought he was about to throw it again. If he cooperates, he'll just stay over by the left and let me hit him. Sometimes you get him in a pattern where all he does is make the flames over and over again. That's what I like to go for. He can also jump over his sword swings if you time it correctly, just like that. A good pattern if you want to be really safe is just wait for him to attack and then attack back. But I have enough hits that I could be a little riskier. Okay, So that's it for the library and the museum. But there is one final cool thing that makes this stage one of my favorites. They do the falling away into a pit kind of trope here at the end. And it's neat because it leads to the dungeon level, which I'll be doing very soon actually. So as always, thanks for watching. Bye bye.